Chapter 25. Participation. Kara. Punish Blue in front of the class, and I'll give you back your participation grade for the day. My mouth goes dry, and I'm sure my heart stops for a second. He can't be serious, right? He's insane. I'm not gonna hurt Blue so this sadistic prick can feel like he's done something for his class. I'm not gonna punish Blue in front of the class. And why not? This is a class about training familiars. One of the most important aspects of this is learning how to punish a familiar properly. The professor sighs as he takes his time walking over to me from his place at his desk. I can't help but feel his predatory glare digging into my back. The look I'm getting from the class doesn't exactly inspire confidence either. Everyone is silent, waiting for the killing blow. Idly, I note that Shauna is actually part of our class. I thought we were in different sections. There's a part of my brain that's giddy already with the rush of adrenaline. When he speaks again, I swear he's right behind me, looming over me like a vulture, though I'm sure that will be seen as overkill. It's all right if you don't want to participate in the activities of the class. I can just mark the assignment incomplete. Though that's the same as failing. There's really no other assignments between now and the exam in a month, so that would drag down your grade quite significantly. And forgive me, but I really do think that your scholarship would not tolerate more than 2 weeks with a class ranking under a C- grade. Am I correct? I hear the snickering from our audience. My classmates. Stars, I was hoping no one would find out. At least not before I'd gotten the chance to make a good impression first. The clack of his polished shoes fills the air, and it doesn't help my nerves any when he actually comes into view. It's no better to see this enemy. He's not any less dangerous when I can see him. He moves past me, looking down to where Blue's crouched on all fours. It would be a shame if our scholarship student got kicked out for something so stupid. I bite the inside of my cheek so hard I taste blood. He's right, though. What would that prove? All the way back in Capital City for the schooling I've had my sights set on for years, scholarship and all, and I'm out on my ass before the semester even really begins? I've been here less than a day and I'm already in danger. I came here for a reason. I bought Blue for a reason. He's fulfilling a requirement. He's supposed to be the same as the books and components I need for my other courses. He's supposed to be something I use. Stars, the thought makes me sick. I'll be kicked out if I don't keep my grades where they need to be, but that doesn't change how much I want to smack the man in front of me. Master? Blue's voice is quiet, but the students are being so reverentially silent you could hear a pin drop. I'm sorry, Master. I know that my conduct was unacceptable. Please, punish me as you see fit. Something cold settles in my chest. Blue's kneeling down. He's said those words so many times before, but they hadn't really meant anything. Nothing beyond anything someone terribly scared and confused could mean. I don't like what's happening here. Everything's gotten out of control. He hasn't done anything wrong. It was my fault. I didn't know how to instruct him. None of what's happened today is his fault. At least he knows how to ask for it properly. Well, Kara? Please, Master. It's Blue that does it. He raises his eyes, careful not to let the professor see, but he meets my gaze. He's not trembling. He's not on the edge of tears. I've never seen him more sure of anything. He'll be okay. We just need to put on a little scene so we won't be targets anymore. We just need to play our parts. All right, Professor. I just wasn't quite sure if this was something that was allowed in class. Excellent. Go on now. He takes a seat with the students as though I'm about to do a presentation. A smirk settles over his lips, and it feels like we've just been thrown to the wolves. Show me that you know what you're doing, Kara. I am genuinely surprised that he can't hear the sound of my teeth grinding from the effort of continuing to smile at this madman. "Of course, sir. May I borrow your desk?" "Oh, yes. There are some fun things on the top drawer if you need anything. Jewel, help him." His Zenzi cub rises disturbingly robotically and opens the top 3 drawers of the desk, revealing a truly impressive collection of disciplinary items. The cub doesn't meet my eyes. The poor thing's hands are shaking, but they fold their hands together in front of their body in a demure little gesture before returning to kneel by the professor. I take my time examining what's available before picking up a slim cane. For all that this collection is trying to prove, it will do a better job intimidating new students than intimidating their familiars. I know for a fact that this is a new set. No signs of wear on the gloss, and all the leather is freshly stained, showing no signs of washing and retreatment. If these were his personal tools, they would be much more heavily used, just going by the reaction of his familiar. "Oh, Kara, that is an impressive choice. Yes, you'll exceed in this field. You're already earning extra credit." I choose to ignore his words in favor of a few test swings of the cane. Perhaps to the rest of the class it just seems like I'm in deep thought, taking the compliment from my professor to heart. The cane is less disappointing. It's light. It'll sting, but there will be no lasting damage. It's the best I can do in this scenario. "I want you bent over the desk." My voice comes out flat, but I'm just glad at this point that it didn't crack. I hope our audience thinks it's just because I'm mad. Blue moves without any additional coercion, though I'm stunned when he pulls up his tunic to his waist and pulls his pants down to his knees. I didn't want to do this against his skin. I don't want to do this at all. I'm halfway to his trousers, fully intent on pulling them back up, when I realize that the action goes against the image of the angry owner I've been playing. In any other situation I'd risk it, but here we are being watched. We're being combed over for any flaws and weaknesses. So I settle for changing the direction of my hand. I brush Blue's skin casually, just above the bundled-up cloth at his knees, and settle my hand on his leg and start a slow slide upwards with the goal of pulling Blue's shirt up just a little higher. He lets out a squeaky little mew and does a full-body shudder that makes our audience giggle. Stars above. I want to do more than smack my classmates now. It's distracting, not just for me, but for Blue as well. He lifts his head off the desk and squirms a bit before I let my hand thread into his hair and give him a gentle press down into the table. I need him to focus. It won't do him any good to think about our audience more than he has to. Blue lets out a little squeak of pain, and for a moment I wonder if I was too rough, before I realize that he's trying to make it sound like I've shoved him into the desk. It's all I can do to smirk and disguise an affectionate hair tousle for a hard press into the desk. 10 strikes for what you've done, Blue. I suppress the automatic reflex to ask him if that's okay, if he needs a break or if the scene isn't working for him anymore. This isn't his choice. He can't say no. I want you to count. You're allowed to make noise. Only 10? That's quite generous of you. I'm really starting to hate this professor's voice. Every time he opens his mouth, I want to punch him. I smile. I don't want to waste any more of the class time with a more thorough discipline session. Trust me, Blue will be getting the rest of what he needs once we get home. Yes, he'll get some soothing gel and a thorough cuddling, and a nice long talk about how we're never doing this again, or we're at least going to make a plan together for if we ever have to. I don't like the way my professor's watching us. I wouldn't put it past him to force this kind of stuff on us again. I know what I'm doing, and apparently so does Blue. My strikes come down even and precise, nowhere near anything dangerous, and sticking to the safer places to hit, low on his ass, avoiding tail and hips and the fleshier bits of his thighs. Blue, for his part, calls out the number obediently. He doesn't let out much sound beyond that, despite my permission. It's over before anything has a chance to go wrong. 10. Thank you for my punishment, Master. Blue says in the same sweet voice he always has. And I want to throw up. But it's over now, and we're done. There are raised red welts striping up and down Blue's thighs, and I know it has to sting. But Blue just pulls his pants up as though it doesn't. That was very good, Kara. I will be honest, I wasn't expecting such a practiced hand. I'm sorry for the insinuation. I don't want to see his face, but I look him in the eyes and thank him. His smile is sickening. If I could. He gestures over to Blue, who's already settling on his hands and knees beside me. I can't blame him. Sitting won't be comfortable for a bit. As it turns out, the professor wasn't asking, because he just goes right on ahead and helps himself, pulling Blue up onto his feet. I didn't give him permission to touch my familiar. But apparently he doesn't think he needs it. He pulls up Blue's tunic again, and his slim fingers dance at the waistband. He seems to be looking at Blue's stomach, though I can't imagine why. He takes Blue's chin in his hand, and Blue deftly avoids eye contact, but docilely goes along with his motions. Huh, that is fascinating. Terribly sorry. I must have been mistaken. His hands come off Blue, and he's allowed to go back to his knees. Mistaken about what? I can't help but ask. Well, my cousin had one like that. Pretty eyes, too. Except he wrote out exactly what its use was on that one. Ice settles in my veins, and I don't hear another word spoken for the rest of class. Blue's scars. Those horrible words cut into his body. That was this man's cousin. The man who did that, who scarred Blue physically and mentally, is related to the man I'm supposed to take instruction from. Instruction on how to treat Blue. Blue must have been responsible for getting me back to my chair. I'm deaf and blind to the world. People move around me, but everything's muffled like we're underwater. My classmates go up in front of the class and do their presentations, but I can't for the life of me focus enough to even hear what they're saying. Shauna slides into the seat next to me after her turn. She doesn't say anything, just sits close, and I thank the stars for her presence. She's content to sit in silence for once. It's grounding in a way I didn't think I'd be needing today. Ande seems fine, unbothered by the turn of events, content to just kneel in silence at his mistress's side. It's the bell that pulls me out of my stupor. Shauna's in a different section of casting, and I move to the back of the class once she leaves. The next class comes in, though several people stay in their seats. It seems I'll have the joy of having Genevieve in my casting class. I try to contain a groan and just pray she doesn't see me. We're in the same room with the same teacher for the next class. Our professor doesn't seem to feel the need to do any random syllabus changes here, though I do see him glance over to my corner more than he should during class. There is no greater blessing than the bell. The second class is over. I'm tugging Blue along. He hasn't said a word to me since last period. Then again, he hasn't had much opportunity to use his voice. He seems calm enough. He's keeping his eyes down and keeps in step with me. I just can't help but feel that something irreparable has changed between us. We have to talk. We need to work this out. We need to... Stars. We need to go to the vet. I had almost forgotten in all the excitement. People are flooding the halls, upperclassmen and graduate students trying to attract attention with flyers and tables espousing their manifestos. Stars above. I don't have the will to wade through a club fair. Blue and I weave through the people, staying just courteous enough not to be scorned before we make it out of the main gates. There are plenty of carriages ready and waiting to leave. Must have been ready for the first day of school. I give the driver the address and pull Blue inside. It's the first moment that we've been truly alone since break, but it feels like it's been years. The carriage lurches into movement before Blue has a chance to settle on the ground, and he crashes into my knees. I'm sorry, I start, but Blue's already got his speech prepared. I apologize, Master, Blue and I stumble over each other for a few moments. It isn't until then that I actually look at Blue, see the reason why he wasn't holding the little bar that's supposed to help you not trip. His hands are full. He's got at least 24 colorful flyers from all those booths we passed. It seems those scavengers passed their stuff to the people who can't just shake them off. His blush goes all the way down his neck as he holds out the papers for me. I tuck them in my bag for later. Blue, I pat my lap invitingly. I want you to lay down on the seat, okay? Can you do that for me? My smile is tense, and I know I'm not the perfect picture of meticulously maintained sanity, but I can't let Blue sit on the floor right now. I just can't. Blue hesitates a moment, rocking with the movement of the carriage before kneeling up onto the seat next to me, trying to find a way to lie on me that seems entirely respectful, I assume. I put my hand on his back and let him topple over into my lap. Master? I don't know what to say. My tongue is tied in knots along with my mind. I just want to pet you, okay? We'll be at the vet soon and we can get the last of our paperwork squared away. Then we can go home. He's silent for a moment, hopefully absorbing what I'm saying. My hand just barely gets into his hair before he speaks again. I really am sorry. I didn't mean to embarrass you. Blue, nothing that happened in that classroom was your fault. If anything, it was mine for not reading up on the proper positions. Stars. It's that professor's fault anyway. This was nowhere on the syllabus. Otherwise, I swear I would have prepared you for it. Blue nods against my leg, and I run my hands through his hair. You really weren't going to do it, were you? Blue, I'm still not convinced that I should have. Don't say that. Master, if you hadn't, the professor would have... It would have been bad, and the students would talk. Really, it's better that you did. I don't know what to say to that. I keep my hand running in Blue's hair, but I can feel that it's not as relaxing as I was hoping for. Blue's going tense like a bowstring. Blue, I'm sorry. I'm sorry for what I did to you, and if it's in the stars, I hope we never have to do that again. Master, you were very kind in my punishment. Not many others in your situation would have been so considerate. I hurt you, for no other reason than to save my grade. He's quiet for a stretch and just lets me pet him behind the ears. Many have done a lot worse for less noble goals. And stars if that doesn't just hurt. I'm the lesser of the evils. I only hurt him when I have a reason. Blue. Words fail me, but Blue takes the opportunity to nuzzle into my leg. You didn't even hurt me too bad. Master, many have used the cane without knowing how. Stars. And here he is trying to make me feel better. Blue, I don't know anything about familiars, and I know you say you don't either, but you still know a hell of a lot more than me. I have his attention. His ear is flicking, and I can feel him about to claim I'm wrong, so I just keep going. You know how you're supposed to act, and I don't. I don't even know the basic rules for pets. I can deal with the people, but we need to work together if we're ever going to make it through this. Okay? I have a lot to learn from you. I'm doubtful you could learn anything useful from me, Master. Well, we will just have to disagree then. I can feel the heat from Blue's face on my pant leg. My smile is an involuntary reaction. I provide a good scritching in retribution. The purring brings some peace to the carriage, as though it really is just the two of us, as though that's all I'll ever have to worry about. It's a nice thought.